Hey guys, BricKreations here, and I am so stoked that we are finally at week 8 of building Erebor. Now, a lot of progress has happened this week, especially concerning the mountain, as well as finally getting that bridge in and doing a lot of experimental design on the inside of Erebor. I'd also like to say that towards the end of the video, I will spend a good amount of time talking about my plans now that school is finally over and we have the summer to finally complete this awesome mock. So let's get started. So I suppose this is the best angle in which you guys can see all the progress that I was able to accomplish this week. Obviously now you can see here, this is Mountain Work 3.0, so I did have to tear it down again, and I think this version looks much better for reasons which you will see later on in the video. I also built up the mountain on the other side, as well as putting a little bit of a staircase that will lead to the secret entrance. Now I haven't put in the second pedestal for the dwarf statues. I'm still working on the design of the dwarves as well as the pedestals, but I have left the space generally open for the time being. Now I've actually got the bridge in. You can see it right in the middle, and I think it turned out really nice. Though this was my original design, going for something a bit like this. I actually got this idea, most people use it in tower designs to make a circular tower, but I thought, what if I used it as some sort of a bridge? That would look really cool. But frankly, I didn't have the pieces to complete this bridge, and I started looking at the movies, and I found that the design that I came up with now is extremely accurate to the movies, even though if it's not as detailed. Okay, so we're going to start off here at the front, and then we'll move on to the inside of Erebor at the end of the video. But starting off with the path, this is what it looks like, and I know at first glance it looks exactly the same, and you're completely right. The only thing that did change was this little section here, in which I had to kind of rip out the rock work and plating, and continue the path so that it fits a little bit better with the bridge. So speaking of the bridge, here it is, and it's a very simplistic design. And without rambling on too much, I just want to say that it is very movie accurate, like I said before, but I try to add as much as I could without kind of ruining that accuracy, which is why I added these pillars here. And I think I'm going to go with this kind of a topper instead of this one. I think it gives a little bit more shape, and I try to add some inverted slopes on the bottom to give it a little bit more of an arched look. And here is the left side of the mountain work. It is about 2/3 the size of the other side, but that's mainly because I had to put a staircase leading up to the secret entrance, which I haven't yet built, but the staircase is there nonetheless. And the rock work, like I said, it's very simple. There should be a time lapse running about right now. Not very hard to build. Like I said, it doesn't have too much of a structure behind it, but it's not necessary anyway. And I think the results turned out very nice, just very simple, and an accent to the build overall. So here is the staircase that I built. Again, a very minimalistic design, and not too much going on. Not really much to talk about, except for the fact that I did try to put a little bit of snot siding to give it a tiny bit more detail. So here is the third rendition of this rock wall, and I think the main reason why I tore it down and the one before that is to make it a little bit better. And I think one of the main things that I did this week is going to be the snot work at the bottom, and I think it adds just another dimension of detail that wasn't there in the previous one, as well as this very obvious tree that's inside the rock work. I think it's something that I always wanted to put there, but I thought, you know what, I'm tearing it down anyway, let me try and experiment and get something with it. And I think the results look really cool. Very simple to make, not really that hard, using the same designs as the wall except in reddish brown, and then obviously using the arch pieces at the top for the leaves. I think, again, very simple, but turns out really nice. And I think also one of the main challenges with this area that you can't really see is the fact that it spreads across 2 base plates. So in order to make them separable, but where it still looks like it's connecting, I think that's something that wasn't there in the previous one, and I'll show you how that looks. So that's what it looks connected, and then when I pull it apart, that is what it looks like. So you can see a few things overhanging here, and there, and then the gaps where this knot, and I think it just fits together so perfectly. I couldn't have asked for a better result. So concluding with the back, this is what it looks like at the moment. You can see that the main progress has been done right here, as well as doing a little bit of a staircase there. Now there will be an identical one to that one, on the other side, and what those will be used for is to reach the kind of battlements, or I'm not exactly sure the technical term, but where you see in the movies all the guards standing, you know, where archers would normally be and stuff. So it needs to be functional as well as just looking good, so there needs to be a little bit of staircase there, so which is why I put it, and I want to add as much of a sand green accent as I can, which is why I went for a base made out of sand green. So this was the very first thing that I worked on this week, and I put a lot of detail into it, even though it doesn't look it. And I think where that detail is going to come in is going to be firstly on the stairs. Very simplistic design in terms of the steps, but I wanted to give a little bit of detail when it came to the banister. So this is my kind of design that I came up with. Let me focus. There we go. Sand green and gold accents as always. And then I use these hinge plates to make that kind of railing on the side, and I think that turned out really nice. Then the tile design, of course, not just using normal tiles at angles or anything. I'm actually just using diagonal tiles, and I haven't used them in any of my mocks so far, so I think it turned out really nice in this setting. So I guess most of you will have noticed these scriptures on the side of the wall right here, and those actually spell Erebor in ancient Dwarvish, also known as Huzdul. I'm probably butchering that name right there, but that doesn't really matter. So again, that spells Erebor, so E-R-E, and then I put B-O-R on the other side of this staircase. I think one of the hardest things to do was trying to replicate those letters in Lego. Ultimately not really implementing them, because once I got the kind of general shapes, it wasn't too difficult to get them into here, but trying to experiment with how I can get those different shapes using mostly cheese slopes and tiles. Those were what I found to be the most useful for making those shapes. So here this looks similar to an N and a little bit like an H, and you can see how I just put an upside down cheese slope, then a tile, then an upright cheese slope. Then this one in the middle, you have cheese slopes on their side to give the R. And I think it doesn't look it, but it's very, very hard to try and get these. And here's the other side spelling B-O-R, so that's to be right there. That's an O, and this was probably the hardest thing to get done, and I'm not overly satisfied with the results at the moment, because you can see plenty of gaps in between the tiles and cheese slopes, but it was really hard to try and get that kind of A shape without the line in the middle. Alright guys, so there was week 8, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and as promised, I do have quite a lot to talk about in this outro. So, jumping straight into it, I am finally on summer vacation, and I have finished school completely, which is a huge relief, but that doesn't come without a catch. Now for this first month of July, I will not be here at my house, so I won't be able to get any progress done in terms of Erebor, but hear me out, I do have a plan. So during the month of July, I do have a bunch of videos scheduled, and I do have them pre-uploaded so that while I am gone, there will be videos coming out even though I'm not actually here, so it will keep you occupied in the meantime. But then when I come back, for the whole month of August, I will have plenty of time every day, all day, to spend on Erebor, and I will officially complete the mock during that month. That will be a very action-packed August in which there will be weeks 9, 10, and the finale, as well as plenty of Lego hauls, as well as multiple LDD designs, so that when I get back, I have everything that I will possibly need to completely finish this mock. So ultimately, I apologize that Erebor will be put on hold for nearly an entire month, but I will try my best in August to try and cover up and catch up on that work that has been missed out. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. That would really help me out. Go hit that bell notification down there to stay alert of all my new content. Give this video a like and comment down below what you think, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. See you in August. We'll be right back.